You've tuned in for another deep dive, and this time you've given us a really compelling set of sources about the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah, some fascinating stuff in there. Ghost stories, history, quite the mix.
Definitely. We've got firsthand accounts, historical deep dives, so our mission here is to, sift through all that and pull out the most solid claims about its past and all the alleged paranormal stuff. Give you the core story, basically.
Exactly. We want to get past just the spooky stories and look at the history, the patterns, what makes this place tick reputation-wise.
Right. Because its history is wild. Starts in 1886 as this, super luxurious resort for the wealthy.
Top-tier place.
But then it becomes a women's college. Totally different vibe. And then the really infamous part, this fake cancer hospital. That seems to be where a lot of the darker stuff comes from.
That's the Norman Baker era, yeah. It casts a long shadow.
And all this leads to it being called America's most haunted hotel. I mean, that's a big claim. That's what makes you want to know more.
It does. And the descriptions of the hotel itself, the building, they kind of set the scene, don't they? Victorian style, up on this hill.
Yeah, overlooking Eureka Springs. It sounds impressive, but maybe a bit isolated too.
Could be. The sources mention the feel of the place, cool and heavy air sometimes, echoing footsteps, even hints of ghostly laughter.
It creates an atmosphere right away, doesn't it?
For sure. And you can really break down its history and maybe the hauntings into those three main phases you mentioned.
The fancy resort, the college years.
And then Baker's Hospital. Each one could, theoretically, leave its own kind of residue, ghosts from different eras, potentially.
Right, though that Baker period seems especially potent. But even before him, there's that story about the construction worker, right? Fell to his death in the basement.
Ah, yes, the classic origin ghost story. Happened during the initial build. That kind of tragic accident is often, pointed to as a reason a spirit might stick around.
Yeah, sudden death, common theme.
But like you said, the story really darkens when Dr. Norman Baker shows up. That's where the reputation gets really sinister.
Oh, Baker. He sounds like quite the character. The sources paint this picture, right? Always in a white suit, purple shirt, lavender tie.
Very flashy, confident smile.
But underneath, the sources basically say, heartful agreed. It's quite the image.
And he targeted vulnerable people. Started his hospital operation in 1937, preying on families desperate for cancer cures, promising miracles.
With no actual basis in science, right? It was all just a show.
Pretty much. Big words and flashy shows, as one source put it. The treatments were useless. Some were even harmful, apparently.
Rig, imagine the suffering, the false hope.
It's awful to think about. And then you get these weird, creepy details like the secret room he had.
Right, where he kept records and strange things in jars. And sad photos of patients. Ugh.
Yeah, really unsettling. Suggests a total lack of empathy.
Now, some people claim his spirit is there, looking sad and trapped. That fits the whole tragic villain archetype, doesn't it?
It does. And the specific things reported the smell of hospital alcohol out of nowhere, a sudden chill. It adds to that feeling of a lingering presence, like the place itself absorbed that darkness.
Oh, it was actually in his secret formula number 5.
Yeah.
Anything sinister.
Honestly, it sounds pretty mundane, almost comically so, given the claims. Ground up watermelon seeds, corn silk, clover, water, glycerin, peppermint, and just traces of carbolic acid.
Wow. So basically nothing. Just fraud.
Pure fraud. He did end up facing charges, spent time in prison from 41 to 45.
And the irony, he died of cancer himself later on.
Yeah, down in Florida in 1958. A grim sort of poetic justice, I guess.
But wait, didn't they find something more recently? Like digging up his stuff?
They did. In 2019, archaeologists found hundreds of his formula bottles and these jars of medical specimens buried on the grounds like a secret dump site.
Well.
And the suggestion is that digging all that up might have actually, stirred things up again, made the paranormal activity worse.
Like disturbing a grave, almost. Okay, so let's shift gears from Baker specifically to the haunted spots in the hotel. Room 218 always comes up first. Michael's room.
Right. Michael, the Irish stonemason, he died during the construction back in the 1880s.
The guy who fell. Was it an accident?
Reports vary. Some say accident, some say he was, showing off for a woman or trying to get her attention. Either way, tragic fall. He's often described as good-looking, maybe a bit of a flirt.
And that seems to tie into some of the activity reported in his room, room 218.
Seems like it. The range of reported stuff in there is pretty wide.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking disembodied cries, objects moving, Even hands coming out of the bathroom mirror. That's intense.
Super intense. And screams from the ceiling, lights and TV going haywire, the door acting weird.
Like opening and closing on its own, or sometimes getting stuck.
Exactly. And people feeling physically affected too, being shaken awake, getting dizzy, nauseous, banging on walls. One guest even claimed to see blood splattering.
Whoa, okay, that's vivid. There was that story about Jake, Sarah, and Mark staying there.
Yeah, that anecdote. It kind of pulls all those claims together into one narrative.
They heard a groan first, right? Then furniture dragging.
Mm-hmm. Then the door slams shut. Gets icy cold. They see a shadow moving.
And the lights flicker out.
Yeah.
Classic ghost story stuff. Feeling watched, cold drafts.
Right. And then, just as suddenly, it all stops. Lights come back on. Leaves them totally freaked out, obviously. But it's that pattern, build-up, climax, sudden stop that you hear a lot.
Interesting. Like it runs out of energy or something.
Could be. Or maybe it achieves whatever it's trying to do. Hard to say. It's a common pattern in these kinds of accounts, suggesting maybe some intelligence or just a repeating energy loop.
Okay, let's go downstairs now. The basement, specifically the old morgue area. It's just the description sounds creepy.
Oh, yeah. Damp, cold, rusty door, old steel tables. That operating table with leather straps. It's pure gothic horror setting.
And the friends who went down there had a really intense experience too, didn't they?
Extremely. Started with a loud clang, then that sudden icy cold again, moving shadows, and then a full-on dark figure appearing.
Yikes. And a scream. Door slammed shut, trapping them.
Exactly. They describe the figure just staring with empty eyes. Terrifying.
But then, same pattern. Lights flicker, door opens.
Just like that. Very similar dynamic to the Room 218 story.
And didn't the sources say activity increased down there after they found Baker's buried stuff?
That's the claim, yes. More sightings of the dark figure, more cold spots, people feeling touched. It suggests a direct link between disturbing those physical remnants and the paranormal kicking up.
Like waking something up.
That's the idea. Physical objects as anchors for energy, maybe? Uncovering them? Reopen something?
There are other specific basement stories too, right? The nurse pushing a gurney.
Yes, that's a recurring one. Always around 11 p.m. near the old morgue area, which is the laundry room now. Nurse in white pushes a gurney, then just vanishes down the hall.
Residual haunting. Like a recording playing over.
That's what it sounds like, yeah. A memory imprinted on the location, the specific time, the details, makes it quite compelling.
And the maintenance guys seeing all the washers and dryers just turn on by themselves in the middle of the night.
Wild, right. And that laundry room still has an old autopsy table and a walk-in freezer from the hospital days.
So the reminders are still physically there.
They are. Adds to the whole atmosphere. Oh, and the old switchboard is down there too.
The one people used to call to sign up for Baker's Cures.
That's the one. Another physical link holding on to, perhaps, the desperation and false hope of that time.
Okay, so beyond the basement and room 218, there were other ghosts people report seeing around the hotel. Theodora, in room 419.
Theodora. She's interesting. An older woman, apparently a former cancer patient from Baker's time, seen fumbling with keys, introduces herself, then vanishes.
But she's kind of nice, tidies the room sometimes.
Yeah. If she likes the guests, apparently housekeepers might find the room straightened up or luggage packed. A more benevolent spirit, it seems.
That's a change of pace. Then there's Brecky, the little boy.
Yes, Brecky. Died young, around 4 years old, from appendicitis complications back when his family stayed there. He's seen bouncing a ball, sometimes wants to play with kids.
Oh, that's sad. A child spirit seen all over the hotel, not just one spot.
Seems so. Maybe a bit lost, or just playful. Child ghost stories often have that poignant feel.
And the hotel doctor, Dr. Ellis.
Dr. John Fremont Ellis, from the late 19th century. His presence is often reported as a smell cherry pipe tobacco.
Where?
Near his old office, which is now room 212. A classic sensory haunting. Smell is powerfully linked to memory, right?
Definitely. Makes it feel very real if you smell something like that out of the blue.
Exactly. It's evocative.
Okay, and we cannot forget Morris the cat.
Morris, the legendary feline general manager for 21 years. Clearly beloved.
I mean, over 300 people at his funeral. That's amazing.
It really is. And now people report seeing him or feeling him rub against their legs. A comforting kind of haunting. His pictures in the lobby, headstones on the lawn. He's part of the fabric of the place.
A ghostly cat. That's unique. Shows not all spirits are tied to tragedy, maybe.
Could be. Speaks to affection and connection lasting, perhaps.
Then there's a sadder one, the student from the college days.
Right, the love-struck student. Story goes she jumped or was pushed from a balcony on the east side. Now people report hearing screams or seeing shadows there.
Tied to trauma again? Sounds like a residual echo of a really bad moment.
That's often the interpretation, yeah. Lingering distress.
What about the guy in the Victorian outfit who helped a couple?
Oh, yeah, the helpful ghost.
Yeah.
Led them to room 221, unlocked it, then vanished when they turned to tip him.
And the punchline?
Front desk says no staff like that, and their key card was actually for room 321. Spooky concierge service. Blurs the lines, doesn't it?
Totally. Makes you question what you saw. And the Christmas tree incident? In the crystal dining room?
That one's just weird. Tree and presents moved overnight to the other side of the room. Next night, chairs are circled around it.
Playful ghosts. In Victorian clothes.
That's what was reported. Then everything went back to normal. Like a temporary festive haunting. Adds a different flavor.
Maybe echoes of old parties. Because people also report seeing dancers in Victorian clothes in that dining room year-round, right?
Yes, that's another recurring thing, like snippets of old celebrations replaying. Residual energy again.
Seems like that dining room is active. Staff finding menus scattered. A waitress seeing a Victorian couple in a mirror reflection.
And that waitress quit afterwards, apparently. These encounters can be really unnerving for staff who are there all the time.
I bet. Then there's the man seen sitting alone waiting for someone. Also Victorian.
Yeah, by the windows. Said he was waiting for a beautiful woman he saw the night before. Another echo, perhaps.
And the cook seeing a little boy in old clothes skipping in the kitchen. And then pots and pans flying.
Right, Steve Garrison. That sounds more like poltergeist activity. Mischievous, maybe tied to that child spirit again.
Could be. And lastly, room 3500. The lady in the Victorian nightgown.
Yes, seen at the foot of the bed. But the strange detail is, supposedly, only women can see her.
Gender specific. That's another layer of weirdness. Why only women?
Who knows? Maybe some specific connection or resonance. It's one of those details that makes you scratch your head.
Okay, so moving beyond specific figures, there's this whole portal idea on the third floor.
Yeah, where the original hotel connects to the annex built during the hospital era. The claim is it's a portal to the other side.
And the evidence for that is people fainting.
Well, yeah. It sounds weird, but apparently multiple guests on the ghost tour have gotten faint or briefly passed out at that exact same spot. No obvious reason. And it happens in waves, lots of incidents, then nothing for a while.
That is strange.
Yeah.
The consistency of the location, anyway. Makes you wonder if there's some kind of energy concentration there, even if it's not a literal portal.
Exactly. It defies easy explanation. Could be an energy anomaly, some kind of environmental factor we don't understand, or something else.
It definitely fuels the mystery. And all this stuff, obviously, keeps paranormal investigators interested.
Hugely. Being named America's Most Haunted by shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures put it on the map in a big way.
And people study it seriously, year-round.
Apparently so. Trying to document, understand what's going on.
What about the limestone theory? That the rock itself holds energy.
That's a popular idea in paranormal circles. The hotel and the mountain are mostly limestone, and the walls are really thick, 18 inches. The theory is limestone might absorb and release energy, maybe psychic or electromagnetic.
Interesting. Like the stone itself is a battery for spooky stuff.
Kind of, yeah. It's speculative, obviously, but it's one attempt to explain why this place might be so active.
And they have that annual paranormal weekend event.
Right. Brings investigators together. Shows the serious level of interest.
Larry Flexman's comments seem to sum it up. Rich history, Baker's awful acts, extreme trauma, all contributing.
Yeah, the idea that intense emotions and events leave an imprint. That seems to be the core belief. Places with heavy history are often seen as more haunted.
Did they ever capture anything concrete, like on camera?
Well, during the 2021 event, they claimed to capture a full-body apparition in the crystal dining room using a laser grid. Said it matched previous reports of someone sitting on the windowsill.
See, that kind of thing, potential tech evidence backing up stories that gets people really convinced.
It does seem to strengthen the case for believers when different kinds of evidence appear to line up.
And there's that big Facebook group too, right? People constantly sharing their own experiences.
Yeah, the Crescent Hotel Ghost Tours group. Thousands of members. Keeps the stories current, keeps the legend alive. Shows people are still having experiences there now.
And the hotel leans into it, doesn't it? With ghost packages for guests.
Totally. Spirits of the Crescent, midweek ghost package. They've embraced that haunted reputation. It's part of their brand now.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear a lot of people are convinced the Crescent Hotel is haunted. We've gone through the history, the resort, the college, Baker's terrible hospital era.
And all those specific stories, Michael, Theodora, Brecky, the morgue figure, the dining room dancers, a whole cast of alleged characters and phenomena.
It really comes across as a place where the past just hasn't gone away. Like it's holding on to all these memories, good and bad.
Yeah, it's a fascinating example of how history, trauma, and maybe even the building itself can create such a powerful and persistent reputation.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it, what really causes these stories? Is it the trauma, the limestone, or something else we just don't get?
It leaves you with that question, and maybe a final thought for you listening. If you went there, would you be more curious or cautious? And what kind of footprint, what kind of echo would you leave behind in those halls?
Because maybe, as one source hinted, the spirits aren't just relics of the past. Maybe they're still watching, still remembering.